When people first started about geomorphology in the 19th century, they were learning about how the Earth's surface had been sculpted over a long period of time by forces that are still in use today. The study of landforms and their evolution is known as geomorphology. Along with it, this subject emphasized their beginnings, evolutions, forms, and dispersion through the natural environment. Physical geography can benefit from studying geomorphology since it offers important insights into the varied structures and features seen in landscapes all over the world. The study of diverse geomorphological processes is a subject of geomorphology as it practiced today. The majority of these practices are thought to be related, and modern technology makes it simple to see and measure them. Each process is classified as either erosive, depositional, or a combination of both. The wearing down of the Earth's surface by wind, water, and/or ice is referred to as an erosional process. The laying down of material that has been eroded by wind, water, and/or ice is referred to as a depositional process. Subdisciplines of geomorphology such as the tectonic, fluvial storm, aeolian floodplain, glacial, groundwater, climatic, tsunami, and more are also covered. Emerging problems in the Philippines, including the sewage system in Manila, have sparked disputes that require prompt resolution, since the study of geomorphology involves the patterns of streams, rivers, lakes, and thus includes the drainage system. The sewage system is also referred to as the river system.
The Philippines remains to be one of the fastest urbanizing countries in Asia, with 33 highly urbanized cities, 108 component cities, 5 independent component cities, and 1,488 municipalities by the year 2020, according to Philippine Statistics Authority. Rapid urbanization exerts significant pressure on the country's public infrastructure, especially its sewerage system and wastewater management facilities. As a result, the country, since then, faces challenges in terms of water and sanitation.
The improvement of the sector was guided through the Clean Water Act or Republic Act 9275 of 2004, whose main goal is to protect water bodies from domestic, commercial, and industrial discharges or all land-based sources of pollution. This act mandated that the local government units and water districts build septage management programs in areas without sewerage systems. However, failed to do so as they lack the capacity, technical knowledge, and funds to proceed with the passage of the act. Moreover, the private companies in major cities that provide septic tank dislodging services are found to be non-compliant with environmental regulations and limited in the enforcement of non-industrial waste sources. The National Water Crisis Act of 1995, also known as Republic Act 8041, pushed the privatization of Metro Manila's urban sanitation under the management of the Metropolitan Water Works and Sewerage System. The service area was divided into East and West zones, the former under Manila Water Company Incorporated and the latter under Manila Water Services Incorporated. Manila Water immediately gained a head start in its operations, while Maynilad experienced an impasse during its earlier years due to the Asian crisis. Water supply was given prioritization for the first 10 years, and wastewater only in the last 7 years when the West Zone concessionaire privatized. This led up to big adjustments in contract service obligations. Both concessionaires have been granted renewal of their franchise contract until 2037. Both concessionaires used separate and combined sewage systems. The separate system separated domestic and stormwater into 2 pipes. The sanitary sewer system would collect wastewater from the household sewer lines and transport the load to treatment plants, while the latter placed domestic and stormwater in the same pipe. While combined system, the current setup in Metro Manila, tended to overflow into water bodies during heavy rains. Both sewerage network and non-sewer activities, such as dislodging, were conducted for sanitation. Moreover, the volume of treated water was higher for septage than sewerage. It has been identified that Maynilad has higher treated volume for sewerage compared to Manila water, while the opposite was observed for septage. Maynilad's longer pipeline with a distance of 607 kilometers can be traced as the reason behind this. Nonetheless, to date, over 300 kilometers of sewer lines are maintained in the East Zone. Manila Water currently operates a total of 38 sewerage treatment plants with combined treatment capacity of 310 million liters per day, while Maynilad maintains and operates 102 pumping stations and over 600 kilometers of sewer lines that collect and transport wastewater from the customers to the treatment facilities to the receiving bodies of water. Regardless, around 50.3 million Filipinos, or around 10 million families, still do not have access to safely managed sanitation services according to World Health Organization. And of these, some 24 million use limited or unimproved toilets or none at all. Furthermore, the majority of households in both the East and West zones in Metro Manila are not yet covered by a sewerage system, and instead, they use their own septic tanks. The following circumstances provide insight into the continuously failed sewerage and water waste management system of the Philippines. It is alarming as it degrades the environment and causes poor sanitation that impacts the most vulnerable and disadvantaged, particularly the poor and marginalized groups of the country.
A researcher from the College of Architecture of Quezon University investigated the state of the sewage system and drainage system in Metro Manila, specifically along España Boulevard. This article discussed that flooding is a persistent issue in the Philippines. Over the past 20 years, numerous flood and sewage system projects have been implemented, yet it seems that only a small amount of progress has been made because flood issues continue to arise. Due to the current sewage channel's insufficient capacity to transport flood water to the dumping station, flood control and sewage system are still not effectively addressed. Moreover, the lack of knowledge about the current state of the existing sewage system channels has hindered the sewage enhancement measure. The delineation of sewage blocks for the 10-year project by the Department of Public Works and Highways disappears since the flow capacities of sewage channels allow floodwaters to overflow into adjacent sewage blocks, causing widespread flooding of low-lying areas.
In the Philippines, foul odors due to defective wastewater treatment systems are a common dilemma we experience daily. Each sewer line in residential houses removes wastewater and transports it to the city sewer system or septic tank. Sewage will back up into each pipe and drain if the sewer line is obstructed, damaged by corrosion, tree roots, ground shifting, construction, or otherwise compromised.
Bacteria and filth accumulation could be the source of odor. Considering everything that goes down the drain, including food, hair, and filth, a stench may develop as a result of those objects becoming trapped in the pipes. Blockages frequently come with smells, and water issues like sulfates can have the same effect. This may result in expensive repairs, operational delays like temporary closure or diversion, and undesirable environmental effects like flooding and sewage spills that smell unpleasant.
Insects, microorganisms, and animals have long been recognized as having the potential to be valuable foraging sites in sewage treatment plants.
Sewage treatment facilities can include a wide variety of foraging habitats, such as stabilization ponds and wetland regions, which can draw and sustain a wide variety of wader, waterfowl, and passerine species.
In the Philippines, a sewage systems with stagnated water become a breeding ground for harmful insects, especially mosquitoes. According to the World Health Organization, around 1.8 billion people who drink from untreated waterways are at risk of contracting cholera, dysentery, typhoid, and polio because far more than 80% of the wastewater produced by human and industrial activity runs back into the old and rusty sewage system without being treated or recycled. 842,000 deaths are attributed to unsafe water, inadequate sanitation, and insufficient hygiene. Less than 10% of the population in the Philippines has access to piped sewage systems. Additionally, it has been estimated that 7 million Filipinos resorted to open defecation in 2015, while 19 million continued to use inadequate sanitation facilities. The Department of Public Works and Highways, or DPWH, claims that the consequences of this kind of negligence include monetary losses of more than 78 billion pesos annually, 55 deaths per day, damage to ecosystems, and loss of biodiversity.
Maaari niyo po bang ibahagi ang mga naging karanasan niyo sa kasalukuyang sewage system ng Maynila?
Ah, sa araw-araw pag pasok dito sa sa Mapua, pag umulan dun sa tapat ng sitio, laging bumaba. Kaya apektado yung mga yung mga tao dahil laging traffic, saka yung dudulan sakit yun sa mga tao.
Ngayon po, sa naibahagi niyo pong karanasan, bilang isang mamamayan, paano naman po kayo naapektuhan nito?
Siyempre, maapektuhan ako dahil sa isang traffic, di ba? Traffic. Tapos, di ba, yung pagbuma yung mga kanal natin, siyempre, magdudulan sakit yun sa mga tao. So, ibang kasama natin mga tao rin nag araw-araw niya biyahe, yan ang dumudulo ng kanasan ko sa mga traffic, ganun. Pagba.
Sa tingin niyo po ba ay maayos, malinis at functional ang sewage system po dito sa Maynila?
Hindi ko masasabi kung tal malinis eh. Pero sa ko lang na tawag dito. Yung nakikita lang dito sa Mapua sa harap ng City Hall, madumi lumalabas sa yung mga kalkal pag bumaba, di ba? Madumi, maitim. Sa pag konting ulan. Siguro hindi siguro malinis kasi maitim yung lumalabas sa sa mga kanal.
Sa iyong sariling opinion or paniniwala po, ano o sino kaya ang sanhi ng pagkasira po ng mga sewage system na ito?
At pagkasira,
Opo.
siguro ay isa rin yan, pagtatapon ng mga basura, walang disiplina yung may ibang tao rin. Saka siguro yung mga kanal, dapat ayusin yan para hindi na bumaha. Yan ang solusyon sa pagbaha ng dyan sa harap ng City Hall. Dapat ayusin yung kanal para pag umulan, gandang dali ng tubig, hindi na baba.
Yun lang po. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you.
Thank you po. Maaari niyo po bang ibahagi ang mga naging karanasan niyo sa kasalukuyang sewage system ng Maynila?
Well, anyway, ayun nga, as I said, I am not a resident of Manila, no? I am from Valenzuela, but though I am working here at Intramuros, so I think hindi siya okay. In a way, hindi okay. Hindi siya okay kasi konting ulan natin is nagbabaha, di ba? So, ang tingin ko doon is yung mga ginagawa ng project regarding the drainage, no? Hindi siya properly installed. And then I think all the DRR is not implemented well.
Ngayon po sa naibahagi niyo pong karanasan bilang isang mamamayan, paano naman po kayo naapektuhan nito?
Syempre, we're working here in Manila, in Intramuros. So, syempre, I am commute, di ba? So, once na nagko-commute tayo, and then there's a rain or thunderstorm, di ba? So, once na nakadaan ka sa may mga baha, unang-una, mababasa yung sapatos mo. No? And then, of course, maraming affected kasi nga because of the flood na nangyayari because of the drainage na not properly installed is yung mga maliliit na mga streets or location here in Metro Manila is mahirap daanan and traffic because of the flood.
Sa tingin niyo po ba ay maayos, malinis at functional ang sewage system natin at bakit po?
Well, as I said earlier, hindi nga. Though I am not an engineer, no, but in a simple person or on my observation, a personal observation regarding on that is it is not really functional, no? So, I think yung ating city government or Manila government will be focus on that because here nga in Metro Manila siguro marami dito yung parang center diba? Yung Manila. This is the center of the everything, schools, diba? Mga offices. So, I think kailangan nilang tutukan yun.
Sige po. Last question po. Sa iyong sariling opinion o paniniwala, ano o sino kaya ang sanhi ng pagkasira nito?
Of course, the city government. No, I don't want to blame the people. There are part of them kasi because of being undisciplined, di ba? Because di natin naman masasabi na all Manileñans is type A or class A, di ba? Most na mga resident ng Manila is type C or D, no? So, because of that is nagtatapon sila ng mga basura anywhere. So, that's the cause. Actually, that is the first cause. Because of the garbage, no? One of the causes of the, talaga natin, drainage system problem or sewage problem natin. So, I think not to blame 100%, no? So, the city government and the residents of Manila.
Sa tingin niyo po ba ay maayos, malinis at functional ang sewage system natin at bakit po?
Functional naman to a point, pero pag umulan na, yun, mabilis mag-clog kasi yun, marami. Siguro yung sa dadaluyan ng tubig, maraming yung mga malalaking basura na naiiwan doon. Yun, kaya hindi siya, at to a point, yes, pero pag umulan na, yun.
Sa iyong sariling opinion or paniniwala, ano-ano o sino kaya ang sanhi ng pagkasira po ng sewage system?
Siyempre tayo lahat. So, siyempre kapag yung basura natin, hindi natin nilalagay sa tama, doon kasi nagsisimula yun. Tapos, pero yung pinakamalaking factor dito is yung mga nakapaligid na establishments, buildings, businesses, kung paano sila mag-segregate ng basura nila. Kapag kasi hindi yun, pag pumupunta lang halos lahat sa sewage, kasi iba-iba yung size ng makakapag-delay yun sa speed ng pag-flow ng water. Kaya ganun.
Maaari niyo po bang ibahagi ang mga naging karanasan niyo sa kasalukuyang sewage system ng Metro Manila?
Well, based from my experience as a commuter and as a citizen of Manila, one of my experiences is that whenever there's a heavy downpour of rain, there's usually flood everywhere. And aside from that, we can also witness the foul odor or smell coming from the sewage system because of the garbage that citizens are throwing.
Ngayon, sa naibahagi niyo pong karanasan, bilang isang mamamayan, paano naman po kayo naaapektuhan nito?
Well, it will be depending on the scenario or the situation. Let's say, for example, there will be floods all over. It will be difficult for commuters to travel. And what I mentioned earlier is that it causes foul odor and smell. This will also cause pollution among citizens.
Sa tingin niyo po ba ay maayos, malinis at functional ang sewage system natin? At bakit po?
I don't think so. If ever there will be areas wherein the sewage system is functioning normally, I think it's only selected areas. But most of the areas, I think it needs maintenance so as not to clog the areas for them to be able to have a clean and pollution-free sewage system.
Huling tanong po, if sa inyong sariling opinion o paniniwala, ano o sino kaya ang sanhi ng depekto nito?
Okay, one of the reasons why this is happening, it's because citizens are not that well disciplined. They should throw their garbage or trashes in the proper places and not only dump them anywhere. Kasi it will cause also clog systems, sewage systems. They should be disciplined enough to care for our environment.
Yun lamang po, maraming salamat po.
Now, let's go into the root causes of the Philippine sewage system's dismissal condition. Coffee grounds, hair, tissues, fat, and other oil residues are some of the most prevalent reasons of clogged drains and sewage systems. As common as it is, there are other more substantial explanations for why the same patterns keep emerging that leads to the common causes. The two major factors of the untreated sewage system are as follows. First, the government. The government of the Philippines has been battling for years to find effective solutions to the problems of wastewater and the rising incidence of waterborne illnesses in metropolitan areas. Due to the negligence of the government and the lack of funds for the sewage system, it was reported that the sanitation and sewage treatment was only received 3% of only water supply and sanitation investments. According to a recent assessment by the World Bank, Metro Manila has the second lowest number of sewage connections among Asia's major cities. Second is the community. The most prevalent cause of septic system failure is improper maintenance on the part of the community, specifically the homeowners. There will be a sludge buildup in the septic tank of poorly maintained systems if they are not cleaned out regularly. The sewage overflows and the absorption field becomes permanently damaged. Septic systems might collapse if the field is saturated due to the heavy rainfall. As a result of the public's lack of knowledge about the untreated sewage systems, issues including aging infrastructure, overloading with too much wastewater in too short of a period of time, and the lack of maintenance are able to persist. Septic system upkeep is often the responsibility of the owner.
Due to causes such as soft materials used by city workers for the sewage system, along with the poor maintenance of citizens, the quality and safety of the sewage system in the Philippines continue to deteriorate, especially since most of the drains in the Philippines are open, which are commonly found in middle and low-income countries.
These channels could be either be prone to danger, being out in the open, or these channels are what cause danger to others. Although the government has modernized the sewage system design in cities, many sewage systems remain open in other areas, posing many harmful risks to the people and environment. The first of these impact is road deterioration. Since the drains are open, silt and other solid substances eventually get into the channels and build up over time, which could lead to clogging that results in flooding that in turn would destroy the roads.
Here are the three effects of the poor sewage system in the Philippines. In a study by Diriba in 2016, he stated that the consequences of poor drainage condition and road conditions is damaging because it causes pavement distress and deterioration. In a way that the prolonged contact of the asphalt layer with water results in cracks, potholes, and failures of the edges of the road, mainly during the rainy season, where the runoff water flows into the surface, leaving it unable to run off through the path far from the failed drain. These impairments affect the safety and riding quality on the pavement. Besides, open drains are located alongside major roads within urban areas. If they are poorly maintained, the water may overflow onto the roads and result in another problem: unnecessary traffic jam.
Second is unnecessary traffic jam. The poor drainage system, especially open drains, causes waterlogging problems on major roads in the urban areas of developing countries. This blockage, in turn, results in flooding, which causes not only road destruction but also disruption of regular urban traffic.
Water overflowing due to poor open drains causes waterlogging problems on major roads in urban areas like Manila of developing countries. These occurrences causes cars to move slowly, causing road blockage and traffic jams. One evidence of the effect of the drainage system on traffic was seen in a news article in India, where it was stated that the inefficient drainage system there caused inconvenience to residents as rainwater became stagnant on the roads for more than 24 hours. This clogging of water or waterlogging not only damaged the roads but also caused chaos to the busy and already congested vehicles on the roads. Another example of excessive traffic jams in the Philippines, specifically in Manila, is the traffic along Taft Avenue when it rains. Due to the drainage system's inefficient capacity to pump the rainwater from the current southwest monsoon, the rainwater causes cars to slow down, eventually turning into traffic.
Concerning the declining road conditions and traffic congestion due to impaired sewage systems, another effect of the inefficient sewage system is the normal life disruption of the citizens. The clogged water interrupts the lives of the inhabitants due to roads being submerged and vehicles being inaccessible. Poor drainage systems hamper the daily life of city dwellers, especially here in the city of Manila, where the center of trade and finance is located, and many people, such as workers, tourists, and students, flock around.
As inadequate sewage systems continue to run amok, sewage sludge, made of accumulated organic matter, may endanger people's safety, leaving citizens exposed to biological hazards due to diseases carried by the pathogens in sewage water, chemical hazards by the mixed hazardous chemicals, and lastly, physical hazards, as the water may include little shards of glass from broken tools in the sewage. These three effects of a poor sewage system, road deterioration, unnecessary traffic, and everyday life disruption all come together to cause inconvenience to the daily routine and a risk to the safety of citizens.
In the Philippines, there are several crucial requirements that are required to be accomplished first before putting wastewater in the designated setting. Number 1. In locations with a sewerage system, all homes covered by the system must be connected to it. Number 2. Sewage outfalls from homes, schools, and other buildings must be emptied into septic tanks in the absence of a municipal sewage system. Number 3. In all areas where a municipal drainage system is present, buildings or other locations that produce wastewater must be connected to it. Number 4. Drainage systems must be built so that their discharge points are rivers, lakes, the sea, or other natural bodies of water, or any other water route that the relevant government body may allow. There are two kinds of sewerage systems that are utilized in the current time frame in the Philippines: separate sewer system and combined sewer system. In the separate system, there are separate sewer lines that channel that used water from the households and bring it directly to the sewage treatment plant, or what we call STP. In the combined system, the used water from the households passes through the combined sewer and drainage line. It will pass to the interceptor system, which will carry the combined wastewater and drain water to the STP. Although the collection process is different, it will still go through the same treatment process when it arrives at the plant. Approximately 10% of wastewater is treated, and 58% of the groundwater is tainted. Meanwhile, roughly 5% of the population has access to a sewer system. Most households use flush toilets that are connected to septic tanks. Nothing else enters the septic system. Only toilet waste does. Domestic wastewater is released without treatment due to the lack of sludge treatment and disposal facilities. Eventually, the waste will simply be dumped into a ditch, stream, river, or the ocean. But at least it will be transported away from the land. Septic tanks are not brought by truck but rather constructed on site in the Philippines.
A United Nations Environment Program wastewater expert, Ricardo Zenaro, has also interpreted the issue with conventional methods such as wastewater treatment is that they are typically very expensive, overly centralized, and unable to adapt to urban growth patterns. These centralized systems are not functional in specific locations and cannot be developed due to conditions and lack of funding. Utilizing nature-based solutions to reinvent urban environments is a far more practical and affordable approach, particularly for addressing the urgent sewage system issue. The International Union for Conservation of Nature describes these methods as actions to protect, sustainably manage, and restore natural or modified systems. Here is a way to naturally improve the sewage and wastewater system. Fortunately, it is currently being implemented. Aquatic plants grow in soil that has water running over and through it in wetlands. Here, bacteria and fungus break down the organic matter in sewage. The aquatic plants absorb nitrogen and phosphorus from that has been broken down, and they also release oxygen into the water that decomposers can consume. The cycle keeps going, producing treated wastewater. Artificial wetlands have been effectively implemented in several locations, including China, Burma, India, Thailand, and our country, the Philippines. Due to a lack of awareness and understanding of wetlands, this low-cost solution is underutilized in locations where they are practical. Next, a point source contaminant, like a sewage discharge pipe, enters the water from a single conduit or channel. Pollutants enter a body of water through dispersed sources, which are large, open spaces. For instance, agricultural stormwater runoff are scattered sources of pollution that enter surrounding waterways with animal waste, fertilizer, pesticides, and sediment. Point source pollutants flow to a single point where treatment procedures may remove them from the water, making them easier to control than dispersed source contaminants. The most effective way to prevent dispersed source water pollution is to enforce sensible land use plans. Considering these, the most realistic solutions to complicated or ineffective sewage systems are surprisingly simple and well known. It's to improve the garbage disposal systems, frequently install proper water connections, pump out septic sludge, and safely dispose of waste. That way, there will be clearer paths for wastewater and an insect infestation-free environment promoting adequate hygiene and sanitation.
For me, siguro the government plays a part of this mainly because alam na natin may lack of funds sila and hindi nila nabibigyan ng attention given in our sewage systems.
From my perspective, I think we just haven't found the right materials or resources that would suffice and fit the overall Philippine standard pagdating sa mga drainage stuff.
Usually, a drastic impact, such as in this case, flooding, needs to happen to help the community fully realize that an action must be done.
A clean drainage system is necessary for proper discharge of wastewater, rainwater, and runoffs, and of the efficient flood control.
So, in my opinion, issues have been unresolved dito sa Pilipinas dahil yung mga problems na to, hindi siya parang masyadong nabibigyang focus ng ating government and ng Filipino community. Kasi if mas binibigyan nilang focus yung mga issues na to, nagagawa to ng solusyon kagad-kagad. So, yun yung answer ko.
Sa tingin ko, unfixable yung drainage system ng Philippines dahil the citizens living here have no discipline. Wala silang disiplina sa pag-maintain ng mga drainage system kaya lagi nasisira.
Para sa akin, itong ay nagre-relate sa system ng ating gobyerno. Dahil mostly nagfo-focus sila sa road na kung saan, for instance, maganda pa yung condition ng road. Nagbibuild sila ng bago kahit nga maganda pa yung condition niya. So, pwede naman magamit yun into something more kailangan, which is yung sewage system. Kaya nga tayo may ganitong ginagawa right now.
The country has always been slow in taking action, especially regarding drainage and sewage systems. We would usually wait until a small problem becomes a nationwide crisis. And to add to that, we poorly allocate our funding for these projects.
I believe that the drainage system of the Philippines is a weak sector of the country as it lacks policy formulation, planning, effective governance, and regulation.
I'd say that the drainage system in the Philippines remains unfixed because the community and government lack the sense of urgency and responsibility.
Why do you think a clean drainage system is important?
With a clean drainage system, no, this gives proper sanitation o kalinisan and nakaka-prevent dito ng mga sakit sa ating komunidad.
Clean drainage systems are essential in today's world as it helps dispense foul odors, prevent diseases by implementing cleanliness, and can help reduce further costs when it comes to maintenance. If citizens clean these drainage systems daily.
This creates a safety hazard around the community's surroundings, making them vulnerable to natural calamities and exposing these people to a variety of microbe-causing diseases.
So by maintaining a clean drainage system, it not only contributes to having a safe and clean outdoor areas, but it can also help reduce the likelihood of bacteria spreading.
Dito sa Pilipinas, a clean drainage system is important para ma-ensure na maayos at contactless yung magiging wastewater disposal para maiwasan yung safety hazards na pwede ma-inflict sa mga tao.
So, a clean drainage system is important since a clean drainage system smells a little good than really worse drainage system which is mabaho yung amoy tulad nung sa condo namin.
Having a clean and functional drainage system means that there would be better irrigation and flood immunity since these collect stormwater runoff, which is more common in urban areas.
A clean drainage system is essential because it is a component of the society's promotion of proper hygiene and sanitation.
When the drains are cleaned regularly, it helps prevent serious cleanliness concerns such as lingering smells.
How do you think a clean drainage system will benefit the local residents?
Nagiging beneficial to in a way that nagko-contribute to sa sustainable development, water quality improvement, and a safe environment para sa ating mga residente.
Alright, local residents are one of the beneficiaries of having a clean drainage system because it can help them maintain a clean and safe surrounding and prevent the manifestation of floods and overflows in the area.
It is beneficial in a way that it contributes to sustainable development, water quality improvement, and a safe environment for local residents.
Clean drainage system is vital to our health, community, and economy since it facilitates the wastewater cycle which maintains cleanliness in our surroundings.
So ang question is, paano ito naging beneficial sa ating mga local residents? So by having a clean drainage system, it not only removes foul odors, but it can reduce blockages that may happen in the future.
I think a clean and functional drainage system will benefit the society sa paraan na magiging continuous yung water flow at hindi siya makakasagabal sa pamumuhay ng mga tao.
The factor that I look at the most is yung smell nga ng drainage system since ito talaga yung nakaka-apekto ng isang tao.
A clean drainage system would lead to a cleaner environment overall. This promotes hygiene, sanitation, and resident well-being. There would no longer be infestations and stenches along roads.
I think clean and functioning drainage system is life-changing, as this is a driving force to eliminate all risk involving sewage.
I believe having a clean and functional drainage system will help the Filipino community in terms of their health and daily life as it prevents water accumulation and removes toxic materials.
According to Marcelo, during 2021, there were reports of illegal wastewater being drained directly to Manila Bay, which was found at a hidden boulder at Station 640, along Manila's baywalk emitting untreated wastewater. Sample analysis was said to contain high fecal coliform levels, measuring up to 50 million most probable number, per 100 milliliters. Considerably, further inspection has led DENR to believe that there were 3 more culvert pipes directly along Baywalk that could be found beside the Remedios drainage outfall in Station 240, additionally measured to be 32 million most probable number per 100 millimeters. Now, why do you ask is it important to take note of this? Seeing that DENR themselves have set a standard level that should have been safe for human-to-human contact to consider activities such as swimming and other recreational activities to be kept between 200 and 100 mpn per 100 millimeters. This makes the people much more prone to pathogen contact that could transmit a variety of diseases via water such as fever, nausea, and stomach cramps. In a much worse case scenario, typhoid fever, hepatitis, and ear infections. Therefore, it would be best advised to just close off the entire area until a proper cleanup drive would be conducted. Since the sewage discharge has been dumped all the way to Manila Bay, this reflects on the overall destructive anthropogenic activities that make the water quality unfit for human contact, showing the lack of care for the ecological environment. By continuing to give solutions and disregarding the sewage system problem would only lead to further worsening the ecological degradation that it was, making it a site for bacterial growth. Especially since Manila Bay is connected toward the West Philippine Sea. It should be further taken care of since it accounts for 1/3 of the Philippines' water and the wealth of the country's coastal and marine resources. Many local fishermen rely on the West Philippine Sea for their daily income. By exposing the marine life's habitat to harmful chemicals that usually isn't in their natural course of living, deprives their source of income. Despite all these cleanups and water quality checking being conducted in Manila Bay, unfortunately, only continue to worsen due to poor solid waste management and lack of facilities for proper wastewater disposal. This problem will only maintain and won't be effectively seized if DENR doesn't implement a stricter regulation that will ingrain and aid Filipinos to realize the value that this biodiversity contains. Overall, if the fecal coliform levels have reached as high as 330 million per 100 millimeters, and continue to do so would only be a matter of time before it becomes biologically dead, killing one of the bodies of water, thus direct hold over to one of the most sought out natural and marine resources to the Philippines.